Колеги, доброго дня, вітаю в українському.
Dear colleagues, good afternoon. We start with operational information from the eastern Ukraine. As usual, Andriy Lysenko, the National Security Defense Council Information Center spokesman, will deliver information. Afternoon, dear colleagues. Mr. Poroshenko, the president, discussed the eastern situation in the east of Ukraine with the Germany Chancellor Angela Merkel. Specifically, President pointed out that Ukrainian side is consequently stick to the agreements on the ceasefire. As well, he stressed that he is expecting that Russian party will fulfill its commitment in the framework of Minsk Protocol. Poroshenko pointed out the anxiety on the ECD did not deliver unmanned aircrafts. That is stipulated by the initial agreements on monitoring and verification of the double-sided ceasefire regime. My proxy Vladimir Groisman had a meeting with a discussion of delivery and distribution of the German humanitarian aid and for Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast, and it is 25 million euro that is allocated for housing for refugees. As for the ATO situation, the terrorists and Russian guerrillas still violate the regime of ceasefire in Donbass, and the militants as well bombarded from mortars and grad militants of Ukraine in the vicinity of Donetsk airport, and two attempts to storm the airport being undertaken. All the attacks were successfully stopped. Within last day, the illegal militaries 5 times shelled the ATO forces position at Nikishino of Shakhtarsky district. The increase of firing on housing and city quarters been fixed. There were shelling by Grad from Kirovsky towards Donetsk and Yanakievo, as well the Troitsky village of Yasinovata region was shelled as well. Last day we did not have any deaths, any victims from Ukrainian militaries. 3 men were wounded. Yesterday, the President of Ukraine signed the decree on 159 Ukrainian militants to be awarded that took part in ATO. The militaries of Ukraine, the servants of internal forces, and the Ukrainian-Russian border is still there are still reconciliation by Ukrainian and Russian forces. And yesterday at Mariupol, not far from Yalta, Talakivka, settlements at the height of 1,500 meters, one drone was discovered that flew back to the terrorist territory. According to operational information in Rostov Oblast, there are new Russian regiments appeared. We're speaking about the 100th investigative brigade from the northern Ossetia, and some special groups from the 2nd Brigade of Special Forces of the Russian GRU, and 22nd Brigade of Special Forces in bordering regions of Russian Federation, we observe the increase of criminogenic situation that is related to the escape to Russia of the deserters bands, deserters gangs that are not controlled by anybody. In this connection, the Izvarina, Chiron, Partizansky, and Dovzhansky checkpoints, the FSB crew make searches of each and every car that is entering Russia. Ukrbоронпром experts within last day repaired 18 armored cars, including tanks, armored cars for infantry, and the situation in the settlements of ATO. Yesterday, the President of Ukraine dismissed several heads of state, state district administration in Lugansk Oblast. Specifically, it's Троицка, Станично-Луганска, Славяно-Сербска, Попаснянска, Перевальск, Новоайдарск, Лутугин, Краминск, Краснодон, Белокуракин, Беловод, and Antracit state administrations. Donetsk Oblenergo brigades recovered the power supply that was violated as a result of military actions in 21 settlements of the oblast. In Lugansk, at Oboronna street, the terrorists organized the sellout of stolen cars. There were around 100 cars that terrorists stole from population. As well, they released one of the owner of Toyota car salon. As well, the separatists empower pressure on medics, specifically in Lugansk City Hospital number 9. They forced people to apply to be dismissed on their own. If they want to continue working, they won't have their salaries. They will only have some food products. In Lutugino town, Lugansk, separatists force local people to sell out their homes. For the price of 100 to 1,000 US dollars. And again, they say that if no, then nevertheless they will be deprived of their households. The citizens that suffered from terrorist crimes after their travel to the Donbas regions that were freed, we recommend that they apply to the law enforcement agencies. German Chancellor Angela Merkel in Berlin confirmed that European Union does not plan to make milder or to lift sanctions against Russia. In her mind, the pressure on Moscow must be continued because the situation in the east of Ukraine is far from being satisfactory. According to the Chancellor, Angela Merkel said that Russia should very clearly confirm that no intention to annex any territories it has. The Parliament Assembly of the Council of Europe and Brussels claimed that Ukrainian crisis could violate the human rights situation, and asked Paisa to play a constructive role in democratic peace and through the dialogue and cooperation. A very difficult situation exists in the regions, in the districts that is controlled by terrorists because the communication is aggravated because of the security issues. According to the data, there is lack of medicines, clothes, footwear, and hygiene items. In certain towns of Ukraine, the drinking water is not available. In Lugansk Oblast, there is a great problem with the sanitary and hygiene. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Полковник Lysenko.
The Donetsk Resistance Army wishes to advise you of the situation here more than you are aware of. Here in Makiivka, the forces of the Russian Federation have 50 tanks of T-72 and T-80 configuration to attack and try to take Donetsk airport, along with other weapon systems. They have communications jamming trucks to block communications and have been testing them at various times here in Donetsk, so we lose mobile communications from time to time. In Telemanova and Starobasheva areas, there are a total of 5,000, perhaps more now, Russian troops with at least 400 pieces of armor to move against Mariupol. We want to know what you and the Kiev command intend to do against these threats to our beloved Ukraine. Slava Ukraina, Kommandantura Vohon, DRA.
Thank you for speech and question.
Дякую. Thank you very much for the information provided from areas here. We understand what area we have. We understand the number of soldiers and tanks located in the Donetsk region. We understand their intention is to fight off Ukrainian soldiers, but there is no force that would force Ukrainian soldiers to kneel and relieve the airport. We have enough equipment, they're not surrounded, and they're very well supported, and they protect the airport very well. That's number one. Second, we don't know what is army of opposition in Donetsk and Lugansk region. We know that there are Russian terrorists that fight, that shoot against peaceful residential areas of Donetsk, Lugansk, and that relates to areas around Donetsk. By our information this morning, about several dozens shootings were in the area of Donetsk. Residential areas, 5 residential areas were harmed. I'll tell you more about the house that where I was raised up. It was shelled, so there is no any resistance. There are those who are trying to take over our land and to force Ukrainian citizens to work for the sake of those who came with war, but this will not happen. The leadership of the nation, Ukrainian military, will do everything to make sure that the international organization will work well 100%. That relates to monitoring mission. We'll do everything to make sure that Russian Federation, and that relates to political leadership, and average Russians who are partially understanding what's happening in Ukraine, especially in the eastern part of it, will force Russian leadership to understand that they've wasted their effort and they will pay dearly. We'll maintain a ceasefire regime, but as soon as there is decision to free our territories, we will do that. We are responsible to international community. We keep all the international agreements, and everything depends on us. and we will do everything depending on us, 100%. More questions? Can we say, Wall Street Journal, can we say that on Monday, intensity of battle in anti-terrorist operation zone and in Donetsk airport has decreased compared to Sunday? Today is Tuesday. Yes. You're asking about yesterday or today? I'm asking about the newest information concerning Donetsk airport. Intensity does not stop. There was temporary decrease of intensity. Even the fire stopped from 7 morning on Monday, and it lasted until 2 p.m. On Monday, and then everything continued. Today, at this time, at the territory of dividing line, there are representatives of monitoring mission, and as joint group includes Ukrainian, Russian soldiers and representatives of SE, and they are preparing. We are dividing the territory and efforts and means for monitoring, and we're dividing group by group who would be responsible for what territory, sector by sector. We hope that in the near future they will fully begin their work, and I hope this will decrease the intensity of the fire. Thank you. Eva Melnik, Central Channel. Can you tell me, please, the situation with drones that OSCE was supposed to give? They haven't given us yet. We're expecting. You don't know when and how? We don't know when they would be given to us, because this would have helped us very much in observing mission to do our responsibilities, direct functional responsibilities. More questions, please? No more questions. Thank you very much.